Hello guys and welcome to Stevie C TV. This is Game Week 10 weekend review. So we've had 10 games as usual, and this week we have had Palace Spurs, the Manchester Derby, Arsenal Sheffield, and a few other games that we'll go through. Yeah, so we've got Palace versus Spurs first. Spurs, I had them down to win 3-0. They actually won 2-1 on Friday night. Spurs frustrated in the first half, couldn't really get through the Palace defence. They had quite a few chances, just couldn't get through there. However, they did finally break them in the second half with a Ward own goal. Maddison ended up getting the assist for that because he just drilled the ball across the box and ended up causing the ball to hit Ward on the leg, knocking the ball into the net. Son then makes it 2-0 with Brennan Johnson getting the ball across to him, and Brennan Johnson getting his first assist for Spurs, so that'll be good for the young player. Ayew then ended up making it 2-1 with a nice chest down and then half volley. It did go to VAR, however it was decided that it wasn't handball, and it was nicely controlled and nicely finished. That puts Spurs nicely on top of the league still, and they're looking very, very good, and we can only see what they can do for the rest of the season. I can't see them winning the league, but you never know. You never know. Leicester did it, and can they do it? Next up, we had Arsenal versus Sheffield. I predicted this game to be a thrashing for Arsenal. Well, Arsenal thrashing Sheffield 4-0. It actually ended up being 5-0 to Arsenal. Nketiah got a hat-trick in that one. Just absolutely won the goal for his third goal. Outside of the box, top corner. It looked brilliant. One for the cameras for definite. Then we have the fact that Nketiah is just showing that he wants to play for Arsenal. He should be the first team player, first team striker. Yeah, he doesn't score many, but this game he just proved to everybody that he wants to be in that squad. And he only tends to get his chances when Jesus is injured. But he's took his chances here, and when he's took his chance, he's gone and got a hat-trick, so he can't be dropped for the next game, surely. We can only see, but again, it depends how long Jesus is out. But I think Arsenal need to think about it. And Nketiah, if he keeps scoring for him, then why should he be dropped? So, later on in that game, a VAR penalty was given. He definitely made contact with the player, but I don't think it was in the box personally, but VAR ruled it as a penalty. The referee didn't, so it did get reversed to a penalty, and Fabio Vieira got his first goal for Arsenal, making that 4-0, and then Tomiyasu finished the scoring with a 5-0 win. Again, Arsenal still unbeaten behind Spurs, but going on very well and staying quite strong. As expected, Sheffield United just don't look good enough at all. They give United a game because United look awful, but Arsenal, they absolutely smashed them. So Sheffield United, you need to put your ideas up, otherwise you're going back down straight away, probably with a worse record, even worse than Derby's. Everyone thought Luton was going to do that. So next up we have Chelsea versus Brentford. I said Chelsea will win this 2-1 because they were going on a run of 4 games where they hadn't lost. However, Brentford beat them 2-0. That's 3 big points for Brentford and 3 points dropped for Chelsea, in my opinion. They're not taking the chances at all. Mbeumo opens the scoring with a nice assist. So Mbeumo crosses it for Pinnock. Pinnock's wide open at the back post. Chelsea defenders nowhere to be seen, all bunched up in the middle. And Pinnock, with how tall he is already, he just goes in the back post and gets it, slots it right in the net. Then Sanchez comes up for the second goal. He tried getting a goal back for Chelsea and ended up getting the second goal put in his own net when Brentford managed to get the ball from the corner and then ran straight back up to the other end with Maupay and Mbeumo. Maupay was quite lucky because Sanchez was chasing him down, and he managed to pass it just in time where Sanchez was out of the game then, and just Mbeumo only had to tap it into an open net. So that finished 2-0. As I said, that was a Chelsea win. I had it down as, so 3 points dropped for Chelsea. Next game, we have Bournemouth versus Burnley. That game finished 2-1 to Bournemouth. I expected Burnley to win that one. I said it was a game of taking chances, and whoever took the chances would win. And Bournemouth were the team that took them chances, and they actually looked a lot better as a side than Burnley did. So, well done, Bournemouth. Burnley scored the first goal in that game with Taylor getting the goal there. And then Semenya equalises with a solo effort, dribbles it round a player, pressures the player, gets the ball back, and then dribbles round another one and slots it into the bottom corner. It was a nice little finish. And then Billing gets the winner for Bournemouth, catches Trafford off his line and just chips him from about 30-40 yards out. And it was nicely done. Trafford gets his hands to it, but not enough, and it ends up being 2-1 to Bournemouth. It's still early in the season, but Burnley are in trouble now. I can see them going down. I thought they might have enough up front. They showed it quite well at the beginning of the season against City, showing it against United. They got the strikers there, they just can't finish. But very good attacking young players, so I can see them moving on. Late on in the game, though, Jay Rodriguez had a goal disallowed, and that was disallowed for offside. I think that was the right decision. He was offside, and it then ended up being a loss for Burnley. So, Burnley in trouble. Keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on that one, because I do think they will go down now. Next up, we've got Wolves versus Newcastle. That was a 2-2 game. I expected Newcastle to win that 2-1. So, again, last week I was talking about how good I felt on my predictions. I was getting quite a few right. I had a couple wrong here, and this week you wouldn't have bet against me. So, if you put bets on, I apologise. And Tonali was not in the squad as I expected and said in the preview. Wilson opened the scoring in that game. Wolves wanted a free kick. However, Jose Sarr jumped above the Newcastle player and the Wolves players and didn't catch the ball, and it fell to Wilson, who did well to quite finish it off, to be honest, and he went 1-0 up with that. Neto then gets a corner. Well, Wolves then get a corner later on in the game. Neto takes the cross, and Lamina scores to equalise for Wolves, making that 1-1. Wilson then got a penalty. VAR decided that it was a penalty. I don't agree. I don't think it was a penalty. And goalkeeper almost makes a save with that penalty. And I think Wilson did well to put enough power on that penalty and get the goal. That made it 2-1 for Newcastle. It's the score that I expected. However, Hwang Chan for Wolves got one back, made it 2-2. And Wolves picking up another big point. They've done that against Villa, and they've done it against Newcastle. So they're getting the important points. A lot of people thought Wolves would go down this season, but it looks like they might do well and might stay up. Next up, we've got West Ham versus Everton. I said 1-0 for this game, but I said to West Ham. But it was 1-0 to Everton, this one. Excuse me. Harrison had a couple of chances in that game in the first half. Look, it's a bit shaky up front, trying to get didn't know what he was going to do, didn't take his chances, and then he just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. He had a couple of chances in that first half, and he should have done a lot better, but he just couldn't take advantage. However, Calvert-Lewin in the second half does take advantage. He gets his 50th Premier League goal, and he made it 1-0. Nice first touch, and then just smashes it with a shot in the bottom corner, and really well finished. Again, it's another game where West Ham have dropped points in the last two games. They've lost both, and they look like they could be in trouble now. I think a few players are starting to be a mess, so we'll have to keep an eye on them, see what they can do. But I think West Ham are in trouble for the next few games. So keep an eye on them. They might be falling back down that league. They started off really well, but they're drifting down. Next up, we've got Villa versus Luton. I said 3-1 to Villa, and it finished 3-1 Villa. So that's one right for me and the scores. So if you put a bet on that one, well done. Villa with 12 consecutive home wins with that result. They're making Villa Park look a bit of a fortress. Emery's got them playing really, really well. John McGinn opens the scoring with a nice fake on his left foot, and then he takes a shot with his right foot, and he nicely finished into the bottom corner. Keeper may be able to do a little bit better, but it was nicely done. Diaby made it 2, and then Lockyer got an own goal, which made it 3. He couldn't do anything about it. Ball again drilled across, similar to the Maddison one in the Spurs game. Drilled across the box, and Lockyer just gets on the end of it, and is very unlucky, and he just couldn't do anything about it. So that made it 3-0. And then Luton get one back with an own goal. Martinez was lobbed by his own defender. It's the crossbar, and it bounces off the back of Martinez's head, and Martinez gets the own goal before he goes and collects his Yashin trophy the other day. So it's nice getting an own goal just before you go and pick up the Goalkeeper of the Year trophy, but it is what it is. Next up, Brighton versus Fulham. That finished 1-1. I had Brighton to win 2-0, so points dropped for Brighton, but Fulham keep on turning up in the odd game, and they're getting the points that they need, so they're staying in the middle of that table. Evan Ferguson opened the scoring. Nice shot from outside the box, nicely finished into the bottom corner. Evan Ferguson looks like a really good talent going forward, and he's definitely one for the future. But with finishing like that, he's going to go far. He's going to go far. I hope he turns up at United one day. Lewis Dunk has a nice free kick, which then goes into the hits the crossbar, which could have made it 2-0 to Brighton, but didn't end up hitting the crossbar, and very unlucky for Lewis Dunk, and very lucky for Fulham not to concede there. Brighton failed to keep the first clean sheet of the season, with Paulina getting a goal with some scrappy defending from Brighton, and Paulina with a nice finish to make it 1-1. And like I said, that game finished 1-1. I had it down for Brighton to win, but well done Fulham to getting that point. 2 more games left now, guys. We've got Liverpool versus Forest, which finished 3-0. I expected Liverpool to win that 3-0 as well, so they did very well. I said Salah would get on the score sheet, which he did. He got the final goal in the game, but Jota opened the scoring, with a save from Turner, from Nunez's shot, and it fell straight to Jota's feet, and Jota just slotted it in. I do think that Turner had a good game, despite his error that led to the 3rd goal. He ran towards outside the box, and Salah bounces over him for Salah to score the 3rd. But for the 2nd goal, Szoboszlai assisted Nunez and made it 2-0. As mentioned, Salah finishes it off to finish it 3. Last game now is the Manchester derby. If you haven't already, please go and watch my matchday vlog on that one. It's in my videos on my channel, so just make sure you go onto my channel, have a look at that, and while you're there, go and subscribe. It'd do me a massive favour. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, so let's keep it up. But back to the game. Manchester United lost 3-0 to Manchester City. I was hopeful and said we'd go for a draw. I said if we win, I'll be buzzing my tits off. Instead, I was absolutely miserable, and I felt like I wasted my day. Awful game by United across everything. Evans played over Varane, and Reguilon was left on the bench for Lindelof. You bring in a lone player for a centre back who gets to play every game in a left back position. It's not right. But Ten Hag says it's tactics, so let's see. He's looks like he might be losing a bit of favour with a lot of the fans after that game. Nobody wants to see United lose in a derby, but we did. First goal came from a VAR decision. It was a questionable decision, but it could have gone both ways. If you were on the losing side of that, you were going to complain. If you were on the winning side of the penalty, you was always going to be saying it was a penalty. Haaland does well to finish it, silenced the United fans, especially when they were chanting about his dad, which was quite funny. But again, even Keane mentioned that He don't know why everyone was chanting Keno after the penalty, but we all know why. But he just wants to be oblivious to it. Haaland then gets an easy header to make it 2-0 at the back post in the second half, 5 minutes in. Just not good enough defensively. And then Haaland then gets gets to assist the third goal for Foden, who's easy tapping for him. But I said a draw. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? That's it, guys, for the review. But please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe. I'll be back on Thursday with a preview of the next week's fixtures. So keep an eye on that. If you haven't already, like I mentioned, go and watch some other videos that I've released. Matchday vlog has just gone out on the derby, and it's a nice little watch for you all.